Welcome to the Travel Like a Boss podcast, where we interview location-independent entrepreneurs that travel the world like a boss by being their own boss. Here's your host, Johnny FD.
Hey guys, it's Johnny and welcome to episode 208 of the Travel Like a Boss podcast. It's a really exciting episode because this is kind of like a 1-year anniversary for the Dropship partnership, and I am with Sebastian from Germany.
Hey, this is Sebastian. Hey.
Welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and thanks for all the money you made us.
You're welcome.
Dude, that was a fun journey. Was it a year ago? Because it feels like such a long time ago.
I would say it's exactly a year ago. When did we start meeting in the partnership? When was that? Like October something? I think we did.
Yeah, so if you guys haven't heard that episode, I'm trying to remember actually when it was. But
I think it was October. It was October, and then we prepared for like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and
Okay. So do you remember how you even found me or the partnership? How did that all start?
Well, I found you. I bought your book. So I was looking for a book on Amazon, like a travel guide for Thailand, and I found your book. I started following you. I read the book. I followed you, and I learned about all the dropshipping and all the opportunities that are outside nowadays. And I don't know. At a certain point, I decided I wanted to do the same, and I came to Thailand and started a business. I guess you made it happen.
Oh, well.
And then you announced the partnership, and I was like, man, that's exactly what I want to do.
Did I announce it on the podcast or on a blog post? Do you remember?
I must have read it on a blog post. I don't honestly really listen to podcasts that much.
Yeah, because I was just looking to see what episode podcast it was, and I don't think it was a podcast. I think it was a blog post.
I think it was a blog. Yeah, it was a post. And okay. I saw that. I was like, man, I want to do that. And I applied immediately. I was like in this beautiful resort, I remember. And you asked us to record a video, like to introduce ourselves. And I remember I did the video, like beautiful waterfall in the background. I was like so happy to be in Thailand, so happy that I actually made it to move here and have an online business. And then, that's where I recorded the video. And,
oh, nice. So you were already in Thailand.
I was already there.
Okay.
I was making money online. I was dropshipping, but I wasn't making money, but it could have been better. You know, something was missing. And I felt like the opportunity to learn from you and from all the others who were participating would give me such a better momentum.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I think a lot of times when people kind of first arrive and I don't want to say they're alone because there's plenty of other people who are also working online. I think it's a big difference between hanging out with a bunch of people who either just started or haven't started a business yet, and also being in a group of people who have already
and
been
openly
successful.
Sharing. That makes a big difference. Like openly sharing, actually seeing the back end, being like, hey, look at this. This works for me. This didn't work. Hey, you should try this. Hey, I'm going to send you some code. You should implement that. That makes a huge difference. And that's one thing that I like about Chiang Mai. There's so many people dropshipping, doing similar businesses that you can learn from. And that helped me for sure. I don't think I would be here today if I had tried to start the business like from home, like from Frankfurt, Germany, like being surrounded with all my great friends, but they had different fields. They like couldn't help me really. And yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. I just found that original post. I called it Dropshipping Partner Program. It was it was when was it? September. And basically I wrote a blog post saying, this is my plan. I want to select, 5 to 10 people to start new stores with. We'll all meet in Chiang Mai. We'll work together and if people can live together if they want, or we can just meet up every day. But I had a lot of requirements that first time because I didn't want to waste my time. And I was like, okay, like everyone has to have one store already. Like they have to have X amount of revenue and everyone basically has to have, some experience. And the reason why I wanted to do it was at that time I had already started and sold 2 stores on my own, and I knew it would be nice to have another stream of income, but also potentially a big exit. So if you guys have been following, my blog or the podcast for a while, you'll know that, for the last maybe 5 years or so starting these dropshipping stores, I would make, anywhere between $2,000 and $5,000 a month from the store. But what really was a nice paycheck, what really a big windfall was after, running the stores for 1 or 2 years, I would sell it for 27 times monthly profit. And each time I got about $60,000 for the stores. And then I took all that money and invested it. And that started making me 10% a year from investments, pretty much for the rest of my life. And now I have a few $1,000s in just passive income from those investments, but I have all my free time. I don't have to run the stores anymore. I don't have to worry about customer service or, Google changing their ad policies or my supplier being out of stock or something. So I just thought it was a really good plan and idea to start some more stores with really the sole intention of selling them. But I didn't want to just do another one myself because I had done it so many times. I was kind of bored of it. And I thought, hey, how cool it would be if I partnered with a bunch of people, took a percentage, helped them start the stores, and let them run it until it matured after about a year, and then resold it. And that's where you and a bunch of others
That's exactly what we did, yeah. I think I sold it after, 14 months?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I very briefly mentioned it on one of my income reports, but I didn't make a full post about it. And so I guess this is the official announcement. We sold a store for $44,000.
46, 47?
46. Oh, nice.
Something like that. I have to look it up.
Yeah.
I think it was 46 something.
Oh, even better.
Whatever.
Well, but there were a bunch of fees. So we sold it through Empire Flippers.
Yeah.
So shout out to you guys. Let's actually talk about the process. Okay. Let's actually, before we even talk about the sale process, let's talk about the build process. Do you remember kind of way back, how we even came up with the niche or how you came up with the niche and how did it all happen?
So basically we sat together, with, all the people from the partnership, talked about niche ideas and, options, opportunities. And, we went for my niche. We can't say it now because we both, signed a, NDA, but, it was, the niche was okay. It was not the best niche in the world. And we soon realized that we need to niche up a little bit. That's what we did. And when we did that and added products that are a little bit more broad, the store started making money and bringing money in. And then I actually took the same idea and duplicated it. I created a copycat store of my own store. It's probably something no one would ever do, but I did it. And that gave me a very nice, that gave me the opportunity to test my store, to split test, to really say, okay, what is actually better? Which marketing technique is better? Which color is better? Whatever. I could split test. And yeah, so in the end, I had two stores, pretty similar, similar niche, some products overlapping, and yeah, they made good amount of money. And then we decided to sell in, I don't remember, maybe March, April, and that took quite some time. I first tried to sell it on my own. I tried to avoid the broker's fee, which is quite high, 15%. That didn't work. I had a few people that were interested, but no one actually bought the stores. So, I decided to go with the Empire Flippers. And,
because they have such a big audience.
Yeah, hungry buyers.
Yeah, and they're really hungry to buy stuff too. Mm-hmm. They're a great place to look at businesses to buy, but also to sell your businesses. And, at the end of the day, it's the cost of doing business, right? I'd rather have an extra 15%, but at the same time, I'd rather have, the 45 grand or something than zero or have to deal with it, right?
It was I think I tried to sell the stores on my own for a couple of weeks, I would say even 2 months, maybe. No luck. And then when I started the process with them, and by the way, the process was, not that easy. It was kind of a hassle. But the moment the store was online, I had, I think, 16 potential buyers, people being actually interested in, and they have to make a deposit. It's not like they say, oh, I want the store, send me information. No, they actually have to make a deposit. I think it was 500. I don't know. And then they get inside information. They get the URL. They get the numbers, access to analytics. And the store was sold within 1 day.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, so within 1 day of it going live on Empire Flippers, it's sold?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And we got a good multiple. I thought we actually were going to get a little bit less.
I think we had a 26.
Was it? Okay.
It was 26, yeah.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's really close to the kind of what we were hoping for.
What we were hoping for, yeah.
Yeah, so that's perfect. And so I guess without getting, without exposing the URL or the actual niche, just kind of give people an idea of the type of dropshipping store that we had started. It's not something that from like AliExpress.
No, right? Completely different. Like,
there are different business models where people will dropship things from eBay, from like, let's say Home Depot or something, or they'll dropship things from China, usually from AliExpress. They mark it up and they sell it on their store. It could still be a Shopify store, but they'll sell it on their what they call a dropshipping store. To me, that's more arbitrage, because you're not becoming an authorized dealer for that product. You're not really caring about like, the quality of the product or or really even building up something long term. It's really just, can I arbitrage the price difference between buying something for really cheap in China or buying something for full retail price on Home Depot, marking it up, and then selling it for a little bit more. So the way that we both learned how to dropship is through Anton's course, antonmethod.com. And he has us become authorized dealers for actual good brands. Like these are brands. Yeah, these are brands that you would buy at, a lot of big box stores even. Like, I think...
Oh yeah, I was competing with all the big ones.
Do you know what some of the stores you're competing against?
All of them.
Like Walmart,
all of
like
them. Literally all
Lowe's.
of them. The niche that I was in, all of the big ones were in the game. I was competing with all of them. Yeah, Amazon.
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and a lot of people are afraid that they say like, oh, it's 2018, it's almost 2019. Is it still possible to dropship because everyone's doing it? I give them the same answer I gave them in 2013 when I started, and people asked the exact same thing. People were asking back in 2013. It's like 5 years ago. They're like, oh, Johnny, like, I see that, you started one and you're successful, but, isn't it too late now? Aren't there a lot of people doing it? Anton's teaching it now. So there's, hundreds of people doing it. And at the time, I was like, I don't know, maybe, maybe you're right? Maybe, I was like, maybe you should do something else. Those people still haven't done anything because every time they find something new, they always find reasons not to start it. In the meantime, I've personally started and sold 2 stores. I've had a couple partners, we had a bunch of partner stores start and sell as well. And I've met, literally hundreds of people who have started way later, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, who are successful. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think the key here is many people think it's just like another make money online, easy and quick thing. No, it's not. It's a full-time job. And basically, if you commit, if you go all in, and if you have the money to support you over the first couple of months, because most likely you are not going to make money immediately, then it can work. If you put in the work, it can. But many people fail, and I see people failing all the time. But also I see people succeeding. It worked for me. It worked for my friends. Some do better than others. It really depends. It really depends on you. It depends on how you do it, how you set it up, who you surround yourself with, and how much work you're actually willing to put in. I see many people coming to Thailand and they enjoy themselves here. They party, they travel, but they don't really put in the work. And that's most likely not how you're going to end up making money. For some, that might work. For most, it just doesn't. So, I guess not. I don't think it's too late. It's not, you gotta adapt. Like, you have to change your marketing. You have to get better. You have to be, flexible and learn. It's a daily process of learning. And if you don't like that, if you don't like to look at a computer screen for 10 hours or more, then don't do it. You're not going to be happy with it. And I see many people coming from like different kind of jobs or like different backgrounds, which is fine. You don't need any knowledge at all. Like I didn't have any knowledge. But I see many people just not being able to do the daily tasks just because they expected something else. They expected they would, I don't know, do the 4-hour work week and then make money extremely quickly without actually putting in the work. And that's not how it goes.
Yeah. But the nice thing about having an online store, especially with, like an online business like dropshipping, is even though you're not going to be living the 4-hour work week when you start, you'll probably be living the 40 to 80 hour work week because it's your business. You don't
have to work, but you want to.
Yeah. It's exciting.
You're looking forward to a Monday. When it's Friday, you're like, oh, damn, it's Friday again. I could use another day.
Yeah. Especially when you like start getting sales and you're like, oh my God, I can do this, And, But what's nice is once it's going, I think there's a couple stages, right? In my experience, we have the building stage, which is usually about 2 months to kind of get it up and running, start getting at least the first sale. So you're like, okay, this kind of works. Then another month or two of kind of the optimizing stage where we try to go from having, one sale here and there to having consistent sales every day to kind of squeeze the most out of it, have the best conversion rates. So, we can get our ad spend down while getting the most amount of revenue, which equals just higher profit margins. And then doing as much as we can to either automate tasks or hire VAs and outsource. And that takes another 1 or 2 months. So the first 4 months, I don't think anyone should expect to work a 4-hour work week.
No, not at all.
Yeah. However, what's nice is after that, it's kind of set up. It's not that you can live a 4-hour work week forever, but let's say you wanted to go, home to Germany on vacation, or you wanted to go scuba diving on the beach somewhere. You could actually just bring your laptop and just check in, for an hour a day, and the store will still run fine.
I've done that so many times. Like I try to work a lot, but sometimes you just don't feel like working, or friends come over and they're on vacation, you join them. And it's usually not planned ahead. It's just like, hey, we're in Thailand. You want to join? And you're like, yeah, why not? Let's do it. And then you don't work. Like you check the emails, like you forward orders, but you wouldn't do anything fancy. Like you just really just the basics. And then, you basically work an hour, maybe 2 a day. Yeah. So I had 3 stores, and I think I was working about 30 minutes to an hour per store per day. That's what I put in when it comes to work hours. And then on top of that, of course, you may want to do some you educate yourself. I would recommend that. Watch marketing videos, see what others are doing. Go to meetups, see what's out there. But if just the core work that needs to get done, after the couple of months, first few months, it's fine. It's not too much.
Yeah.
I could run 3 stores at a time. Then you can definitely do 1.
Yeah, easy. What are some random places you've actually worked from? After the first couple of months of setting up?
Not too many random places. More what I enjoy is the opportunity, the option to work whenever I want. Whenever there's when you're traveling and you're waiting at the airport for 2 hours and you don't know what to do. And usually what do? You read, you're on Facebook, you waste your time, right? And now I just open my laptop and I get work done. And I go into the plane and I know, well, I'm good for the day. I'm done. That feels good. That feels nice. And besides that, beautiful islands, Thailand, beautiful resorts. I never worked from the beach. You only see that in the pictures. That's not real, guys. Nomads don't do that.
I've actually worked from
oh, come on. From the beach?
I've worked from the beach. Okay, not for a day, right?
No,
but
an hour.
I remember I was walking on a beach and I thought of something that I wanted to do, a small change. And I was so excited about it. I didn't want to stop. So I literally pulled out my laptop, went on 3G, did 10 minutes of work, and then put it back and just continued my day. And I actually remember hearing some people walk by, pointing out oh man, these young folks can work from anywhere now.
Nice.
And
it's true, we can.
Aside from that, I remember going, I like to scuba dive a lot. Mm-hmm. So, and unfortunately, most places with good scuba diving have terrible Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
I remember the worst Wi-Fi I've ever had in my life was at a resort in Borneo. So it was on a little island called Mabul. You guys can look it up. It's Malaysian Borneo. It's where people have recently been kidnapped by pirates. So that's probably what they're most famous for. And the resort has Wi-Fi, and I brought a SIM card as a backup for 3G. Unfortunately, if there's more than 10 people connected, it just doesn't work, at all. You can't even load email. And the problem is people just auto connect, on their phones. So even if they're not really actively using it, just during normal hours, everyone's connected and it's not working for anyone. But I had to fulfill orders. I had to do my own customer service. I had a VA doing some things. I had some automation doing some things, but I still needed to log in physically, and I just couldn't do it. So, but I was there for a week, and I wanted those, orders fulfilled. So what I do, I woke up every day at 4:30 or 5:30 in the morning before anybody was awake. I did I did probably it took me an hour to do like 20 minutes worth of work just because the internet was still pretty slow. But I would fulfill the orders, answer the couple customer service emails, and then by like 6:30 a.m. Yeah, I think I woke up at 5:30. I worked from 5:30 to 6:30, and by 6:30 a.m. when people started to wake up and have breakfast, I put down the laptop and I was like, okay, I'm done for the day.
Yeah, sounds familiar.
Yeah, I've done the same thing on a dive boat in Komodo. In the middle of the ocean, we had 3G, so and it was like sometimes you're on the boat for like 3 or 4 hours in the morning to get to the next dive site. So I'll connect to 3G and I would tether and I would just do my work there.
I do that all the time. I love how fast the internet is in Thailand. Like you just need a SIM card. I don't understand how people like complain about the Wi-Fi in the resorts all the time. I'm like, I don't care because I tether. It's so cheap. It's so fast. Even on the islands, no problem at all. And you can literally use the internet like the 3G or 4G on a boat.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And how much do you pay a month for your cell phone plan?
Dude, I don't even know. Maybe $20.
Yeah.
And I use like 50 gigabytes of data.
Wow.
Like fast, like high speed, like 140 down. I don't even know.
Which company do you use?
True.
True. I have True as
They're
well.
the fastest, not the cheapest, but the fastest. And if you want cheap, go for AIS.
Yeah. And they're the most reliable across Thailand. So if you're just in Chiang Mai, you can use AIS. But if you want to go down the islands, if you want to work from a boat, get True.
Get True, yeah. It's worth it.
How much would, those, like that much data be in Germany?
Dude, don't even ask. Like, that makes me so angry, that topic. I think I paid like 20 euro, which is like $24 or so, for like 4 gigabyte or something. I ended up, so I was in Germany and traveling all over Europe this summer, and I ended up actually using my Malta SIM card in Germany because it was cheaper. They have like open laws now. You can buy a SIM card in one country and can use it in the next country, and they are not allowed to charge more. So I didn't really realize that before, but yeah, you can go to a cheaper country, get a SIM card there. And when it comes to data and mobile phones, any country is cheaper than Germany. So get a SIM card somewhere else. And then I brought it back. I used my Vodafone Malta SIM card all summer long. I was much cheaper, but still more expensive than here, of course.
Yeah. And, we're lucky that the EU implemented that law last year because I remember going 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And every country, which is sometimes just like an hour away, it required a new SIM card. And each time I wanted a SIM card, it was 20 euros. So like $25 to register. It would take a few hours to activate. And it came with like 2 gigabytes.
Or even worse, if you live at the border, or if you just like pass by, like let's say you're on the Autobahn, like you're driving and you're close to the border, and the carrier might switch, even though you're still in Germany. It might switch, and you used to pay the out of country roaming. Yeah, you got to be careful about that.
So annoying.
Not anymore. Now it's fine. So I like that.
Well, like in the US, our internet's slow and expensive too.
Yeah.
I remember this time when I went back, I paid, I want to say like $45, but for like not even 4 gigs, and it was like not that fast.
Yeah.
So here, literally, it's half the price, double the speed, and double the data.
I work faster here. I literally work faster.
Yeah.
Even Germany, it's slow. If you got 15 Mbit down, that's fast for like most bigger cities in Germany. Like in theory, it's super fast, and you got 80 or 150, but that never works.
At my parents' house, we were, I think, like the three of us, my mom, and my dad were trying to check email at the same time, and it just wouldn't work. And I was like, what package are you guys on? And they're like, I don't know. So I did a speed test. It's like, okay, nobody touch your phone. I'm gonna do a speed test. 1.3 megabytes down.
It's like 2003.
0.3 megabytes up. And I said, how much are you guys paying? And they said like, $50 or $60 a month. I was so angry that I was just gonna cancel it. But then luckily I was like, okay, like let me just find an alternative first. Mm-hmm. So luckily I found a company called Sonic that's, like gigabyte fiber. So I signed up for them. I was so excited, but it takes 3 weeks to have an appointment. And then I was going to be gone by then. So I was like, okay, when they come, like make sure they install it. And as soon as they install it, test it. And if it works, cancel AT&T because you're getting ripped off. And this was going to be my present to them. I was going to pay their monthly bill. It was only going to be $40 or $45 a month and I remember them asking like, oh, how much faster is it? Is it like twice as fast? And I was like, no, it is literally, and I did the math. I was like, it's literally 968 times faster. So it's going to be like 1,000. Like,
not that they're going to use it, but
yeah.
they could.
And it was going to be cheaper.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it took so long for them to come that I was already gone. And this is how they kind of keep people in their traps. People are kind of lazy. You know, they came to install and they're like, okay, you guys need to move everything out of your living room so we can drill a hole and run the cable. And my parents, unfortunately, were like, oh no, it's too much work. Let's not do it.
Damn.
But that's why these companies are still in business, is because, you know, like, people are content back home. Like, they're just content with, like, the shackles that society puts on us.
And also they've never seen how great it could be in different countries. Like, if you travel a lot, you're like, oh my God, this is so great. Why don't we have that?
I remember seeing a post of yours where you were going to go home to Germany for 3 months.
Yeah.
I think you wanted to go to Berlin for 3 months or something. And you were posting about how annoying it is to try to find an apartment.
Yeah.
And then you wrote a post saying, screw it. And then you were back in Chiang Mai.
Yeah.
And you said it was literally cheaper and easier for you to fly to Thailand.
I booked the next day flight, Thai Airways, $900 one way, when I realized that I couldn't find the apartment that I wanted. And it was such a hassle. It was so complicated. Like, they wanted contracts and a deposit. And like, you know, here you walk into an apartment building, you say, hey, can I see a room? And they show you the room, and either you take it or you don't. And it's so simple. And then if you want to, like, some buildings, they require contracts and stuff. But it's basically it's so simple here. And then back in Germany, it's so complicated. And I was so pissed.
That why was it complicated? What do they want?
Well, first of all, like, I'm from Frankfurt, so I think I was looking for an apartment in Frankfurt, and I just couldn't find what I was looking for at a reasonable price. Of course, I could have just booked an Airbnb for like 3,000 a month, but being from Frankfurt, knowing that the kind of room that I would get for 3,000 only costs 800 usually, kind of didn't want me made. Like, I didn't want to pay that.
You don't want to get ripped off.
No, I don't want to get ripped off. Yeah. And then I couldn't find what I was looking for, and it was just complicated, and it wasn't flexible. I couldn't just say, yeah, I'm going to start booking from now and I'll let you know when I leave. That's not possible. So at a certain point I was like, fuck that. Just went to Thailand and booked the next day flight, and I think I only stayed for 3 weeks, and then I went back. I had to go back to a wedding, so I knew I could only like stay a certain amount of time.
Wow, so you were that annoyed
I was that annoyed.
You flew here just for 3 weeks?
3 weeks. And then back to Germany for I think it was another week. I don't remember, but yeah, something like that.
But, you know, I understand your frustrations.
Yeah.
You know,
life here is so easy.
Yeah.
You get used to that. Like, everything comes easy and cheap, and you get used to that. And then when you go somewhere else and it's not easy, then you're like, why am I doing that? Why did I leave? Like, why did I go anywhere else? Yeah. I mean, traveling is great. Don't get me wrong, but it's just sometimes things are much more complicated in other countries.
And part of it is just being unnecessarily complicated. Like, I understand not everywhere in the world is going to be as cheap as Thailand.
Yeah, of course not.
You know, and it's kind of almost bad for me to start expecting food to be $1 or $2 for lunch or something, because it's kind of unrealistic.
Yeah.
However, I think a lot of places are unnecessarily complicated. There's bureaucracy, there's stupid contracts. They're just like rules that don't need to be there. And that's what frustrates me. And that's what makes me not want to live in other countries. And this is what makes me so happy when I come back to Thailand. It frees up so much mental space and so much just time doing, you know, bull crap, that it allows us to focus on what's important, you know. And if that's building a business and that's starting a dropshipping store or really any business, that gives us so much, you know, freedom to just say, okay, I'm going to wake up. I'm going to have a $1 breakfast. I'm going to work at a great cafe.
Which takes them 5 minutes to prepare.
Oh, yeah, so fast.
Right.
On the way, you know.
You don't waste any time.
There's no, you know, commuting. You can just walk, or you can take a scooter, or you can take, you know, and it's like, I have the whole day just to do what I need to do. And then I can go get a massage.
Do you ever have that you don't know what to do? You're like, it's 4 p.m. I don't feel like working. What am I going to do? Do you ever have that?
Yeah.
I do.
I go get a foot massage.
Yeah. Or swimming or something.
You know, yeah. Or like, I remember, I'm sure it's the same in Germany and probably a lot, you know, where you guys are listening from. It just seems like there's a lot of errands to run all the time. Like a lot of like crap. Like, I remember going back to to California, and my friends, were like, "Oh yeah, we can hang out later, but I got to do some errands." I'm like, "Well, like what errands?" Like, I haven't had to do errands since I moved to Thailand, and it's like little things.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Go here, go there, buy this, drop this off, return this, exchange this, sign this. I'm like, I don't do any of that. I literally have no responsibilities when I'm in Thailand. So if I wanted to just work all day,
You can.
I can.
Yeah.
Or if I wanted just to rest, I can.
Yeah, I agree. But even though it's this great here, for the first time ever, like since I left Germany, this year I felt really good when I came home. It felt good. The air was so clean, and I like Frankfurt. It's a great city. And also my hometown, which is a different city. Like it's great to be there. Like it's great to see friends. It's great to have an organized life because like here it's not very organized sometimes. Like everything around you, it's loud, it's hectic, it's dirty. It's Thailand. I love it, but sometimes it just felt really good to go into like a place back home. I know how it works there. I have many friends there, like long term. Air's great. The weather was nice, so it was perfect timing to go there. Felt good, but then also at a certain time, I was like, yeah, I could go back now, back to Chiang Mai.
Yeah, I think Chiang Mai is one of those places where you kind of have to leave it sometimes to remember how much you love it.
I agree.
And how great it is.
Yeah.
And I
Don't
think
get stuck. Like some people get stuck here. Like you have to travel. You have to get out sometimes. But it's great to return, and it's great to see many people returning. Actually, like this year, everyone's here. Literally,
it's so funny. I got back, and like it feels like I had paused time when I left.
Yeah.
Because I know the world doesn't revolve around me, but it feels like we're in some simulation where I literally paused the game, went for 9 months to Europe and to the US.
Long?
It was a long time. I left in last February.
Nice.
And when I got back, it seemed like everybody was either still here or like arriving back. Mm-hmm. So it felt like nothing had changed. It was great. I love it.
Amazing. Yeah. Yeah, similar for me.
Yeah. But I do agree that it's bad when people never leave and they just stick around year-round for years and years, because what happens is it's easy to get a little bit jaded. It's a little bit to start kind of complaining about things.
The way I see it, you need to spend money outside of Thailand and Chiang Mai. Like you need to spend money in the real world to see what it costs. Otherwise, you're going to have low expectations. Because here everything's cheap. You don't need to make much money, right?
Yeah.
But if you're outside and you're spending 3, 4, 5K a month, and then you're like, damn, I need to make more money.
Yeah. And I think
and then you do it.
Yeah.
You actually sit down and you work and you do make more money. I think that's good.
Yeah. I think everyone's goal should be to be able to afford an expensive city.
Yeah.
But then choose not to.
I agree.
And take that money to either invest it, or to buy experiences instead, or to, donate to save it, whatever you want. But I think it's bad when someone is just can only live in Thailand, and then this becomes their only option. And then if you mention, let's go to Europe for the summer, and not only do they, it'd be okay if they said, I can't, I need to work and build my business so I can afford it next year. Or I can afford it in the future. That's okay. But in general, you would hear like, no, I don't want to go there. Fuck that place. And when people get stuck in that mentality, they're not very happy long term. And also it really limits their freedom to see other cool places. Cause, Germany also, honestly, I like Germany. I probably end up there every year for one reason or another. And when I'm there, I enjoy it. Sure, I don't like paying $30 for a taxi.
Yeah.
I really hate it, but at the same time, I'm glad that I could afford it during, that week or two I'm there. And then when I go somewhere else, I'm like, okay, that was fun, but let me...
No, it's fun to see new places and also return to places that you've visited already, but that you like. And then, it's, I think it's good to broaden like your mentality and spectrum. It's just don't get stuck wherever you are. And, I like the traveling part of my life, definitely. And, most of the time it's like, like Budapest, for example. I went to Budapest. I didn't like it too much, to be honest, but still, it was a great experience. It was a fun week to be there. I learned like a lot again, so it's always good.
Yeah.
Travel and then you don't have to stay there. For me, it was just a week and then, next step. But,
So I'm curious, what did you do with the big windfall cash? Cause I think even after all the fees from, selling the store and then, like having, my cut, my percentage, you still ended up with, 30 grand or something. Like, what'd you do with it?
To be honest, nothing. It's still on my account. I bought a new MacBook.
Nice.
That's pretty much it. I never intended to touch it. That's like, I'm saving up for later. Like, I don't want to be working as hard as I'm working now the rest of my life. So I guess I'm basically usually living pretty cheap. Summer was expensive though. Yeah, I did a lot of traveling, but no, I didn't touch it.
That's smart.
Yeah, it's still literally in my Bank of America bank account.
Okay. Well, you should probably invest in something just like
I should. But then also it's a good buffer, it's a good buffer like for the business. And whenever something happens, something bad would happen, I hope nothing's going to happen, but you never know. And it's a good buffer just to have on your account.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think everyone should have 6 months of living expenses in liquid money.
Yeah, when it comes to business, I don't know if you're doing drop shipping. I'll give you an example. Like some of my suppliers, they just charge me every couple of months and then it's 20, 30K. Well, I don't care because I knew it was coming and you should have that kind of money on your account, like just as a buffer. Imagine you get a big order, like someone wants, I don't know, a school is ordering from you, like whatever product they want or government, whatever. And they require some kind of upfront payment and they order a big quantity. How are you going to pay that if you don't have any money on your account?
What's actually crazy is I've actually experienced this with some people before where they came to me and they're like, oh man, I'm having, some problems with my dropshipping store. And I was like, oh, what's the problem? And they're like, I got this huge order from some government.
I can't find a supplier.
And so what's nice about dropshipping is normally the way it works. If it's not like, let's say a government order, let's just say like a normal order, somebody buys the product from your store. You get that payment through Shopify payments, usually within 3 to 7 days.
There's like a 7-day gap sometimes. Yeah.
So like 3 to 7 days, kind of depending on how long you've been in business. In the beginning, you're on a buffer for 7 days because they don't know you, they don't trust you yet. But basically the supplier doesn't charge you until they ship it. And then you can charge it on your credit card, which means you get 30 days to pay it interest free. So kind of in reality, you get at least 30 days to pay off that, that product, but the money is deposited within 7 days. So that, that means, unless there's some big problem with like PayPal, sometimes will like flag someone's account. If, they see you logging in from Thailand, you have to call them in. That might be a problem in the beginning.
So for me, that's different because I'm German. I don't get a credit card in the States. So I have to pay immediately.
Wow, really? And you can't use a German credit card?
Well, that would not be linked to the U.S. business, and also my suppliers would be like, "Why are you using an out of the country credit card?" No, it's not good.
Oh, that's so weird.
Use a local credit card. Don't have them ask any questions. It's the best way.
Would they even know? Because wouldn't it just be a MasterCard or a Visa?
That's a good point.
They might not have even known.
They might see this card runs on a different currency when they try to charge it. I don't know.
I don't know if they would care, but yeah, at the beginning, I understand. That's kind of a unique position, right? I think most people are selling.
For most people, it doesn't matter. But for any any person and any non-US person doing business in the US will know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of more you need to think about when you start up.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
More complicated, but it's possible. It's possible.
Yeah.
I just keep more money in my account, I just said. And if there's a big order coming in that I have to pay immediately, I don't mind.
Okay.
I can.
I guess for most people, they don't even have to have that problem. It's because if they're, I think even all the Canadians I've known have just paid on their Canadian credit card. It was never a big deal.
Well, Canada and US is different.
Yeah, I guess
that's
it's
simpler.
similar.
But
I understand if you're German selling in the US. But in general, if you're selling in your home country, if you're American, you're selling
you shouldn't have any issues
in the US. Yeah, you basically get 30 days.
And also some suppliers don't charge you immediately anyway. Some of my suppliers send me an invoice every couple of months. Others charge me immediately. It depends. And you can argue about it. You can ask them, hey, can you just make it easier for everyone and just charge me once a month? And then bam, there you are. You got credit.
Yeah, exactly.
Just try it.
I think the only issue that someone had was with governments, for whatever reason, they're used to having net 90 terms or net 30 terms, which basically means they'll pay you later.
Yeah.
I think in those cases, honestly, I would just tell them look,
that's not possible.
It's not possible. I'm not going to it's not that I don't trust you,
You never
but if you want to buy it, you need to just pay up front. And I've actually had that happen before where they insisted on us invoicing them for 90 days later, 60 days later. And I just said to them like, hey, we would love your business, but you need to put on a credit card or something. And they found one. They eventually used the school credit card, and then it was the same as any other order.
It's usually possible, but it's easier for them if you do the 90 net terms thing. Yeah.
But it's cool that you took that money and now you have a buffer. Because did you have a buffer before that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're pretty smart with your money. Okay.
Well, sometimes I spend more than I want to, especially for traveling, but that's fine.
So I've actually, for whatever reason, every time I sold one of my dropshipping stores, I thought of that money as not like going into my normal account. I always thought of it as I'm going to put 100% of this into investments.
That's smart.
And usually because that was money that I wasn't expecting to get anyways.
So you don't need it.
So I don't need it.
Good.
So I always I have like my savings account where I have 6 months of living expenses kind of on the side, especially because I can live cheaply in Thailand. But then every time I sold a store, I just said, okay, I have 57 grand from this sale, or 11 grand from this sale. Let me put 100% of it towards an investment. And so far in those maybe 3 or 4 years that I've had like 150 grand in these investments, it's now made me another 50 grand.
Cool. Which
is insane. Like, I don't think a lot of people realize how cool that is.
Yeah.
Where I basically done zero work those last 4 years.
That feels good, huh?
Because like it doesn't take any time to invest in something. You just kind of buy it and you forget about it.
Yeah.
And then it grows on its own. And it's not just that I get, 10% a year on average for a couple years. It is literally for the rest of my life. And then I can pass this down to like my kids, in the future. It is crazy. Mm-hmm. Like this is when people complain about like the rich get richer. It really is true.
Mm-hmm.
I
should do that. I gotta look into that.
Yeah. Okay, we'll talk about this afterwards. And if you guys want to know more about investing, check out the other podcast. It's called Invest Like a Boss. We're about to do a quarterly update, and just kind of share what's been working, what hasn't been working. But I think this is kind of digital nomad 2.0, where passive income, I think the idea of passive income through traditional nomad businesses is a little bit of a fallacy where, yes, it's possible we can go scuba diving for a week, check email from a boat, and then still make money. That's true. Yes, there's some businesses that are a little bit more hands-off than others. And if you think about it, just because of the time zone difference, most of our sales actually come through when we're not at the computer. Most of the sales are coming through overnight when we're sleeping. So in that case, it is passive. However,
the next morning you're going to have to sit down and actually process the orders, message people back, see what's in stock,
or even make sure your VA did it,
or that. That's true.
So
I haven't really had much success with outsourcing like all of the customer service and ordering parts. My VA made many mistakes, which was kind of expensive mistakes. So I actually went back to doing everything myself again, and I don't regret it because I've now that I really know my process, and I kicked out a few suppliers that just were painful to work with, and now it's fine. I if I compare last year, 3 stores, that was 14, 16 hours a day doing it myself. Too much because high order volume, high season, and then just a year later, that was maximum 3 hours a day. Same kind of work. Same. Just because I changed the processes, I made it easier, and I kicked out a few suppliers. That's it. So yeah. But yeah, it is smart to outsource.
So for all my stores, the only things I would outsource, I would always fulfill the orders myself, just because.
That's the mistake that I made.
Yeah.
I learned that hard.
I mean, it honestly doesn't take that much time. You literally just forward an email. But what it allows us to do is allows us to kind of approve it almost, approve the order, make sure there's nothing kind of wrong or messed up. But what I would have my VAs do, I would have one person doing all the customer service, especially answering the phones.
Oh yeah. I never did that myself.
Yeah. Especially because we were in the wrong time zone.
Yeah.
And then second, I would have an accountant basically go in and just fill in the numbers for me. So every time I would get an invoice, or a shipping quote or something, or, or even a sale, they would go in and just enter the numbers on a spreadsheet, and then I would just double check it at the end of the month. And that saved me a lot of time. And
emails. You can easily have a VA just respond to emails, because let's face it, most emails that come in are not very hard to respond to. It's like, hey, where's my order? Has it shipped yet? And mostly it's because our emails go to junk. Like the customer just didn't read the email, like the confirmation, so they don't know what's going on. So you can easily outsource that too.
Yeah. So definitely a lot of things that can be done.
Yeah.
So we got to celebrate. It was just your birthday last week.
Oh yeah.
And we sold the store, so I think we need to go out and get some Sangsong one of these days.
Let's do it. Dude, I love that stuff. I don't know why. People actually call me Sangsong Seb. No, I like that stuff.
Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely celebrate. I love it. We can buy a lot of bottles of Sangsong for the money we made.
Yeah.
And
too many.
So I actually didn't know what we were going to talk about this episode, besides kind of just sharing the details of how it all worked. But literally right before, like a minute before, I said to Sebastian, I was like, hey, look, a bunch of people have already asked me if we're going to do another dropship partnership this year. And I told everyone no, because I don't really have the time or energy to deal with it. And to be honest, it was a lot of effort. It was a lot of work, especially because I personally get attached to people, because you get to know them as friends, but also you want to see them succeed. And, if they succeed, then there's a financial interest in it. So it wasn't just help organizing it. It was almost kind of emotionally I was kind of invested with 10 people. And the problem is the way that it was structured last year, I required everyone to already had experience. So pretty much everyone came with one store. And, I didn't realize, I guess in retrospect it's pretty clear, but that's always going to be their priority because they own 100% of it. It's already up and running. It's already making sales. So whatever I would teach them, during the weekly or, twice a week meetups, they would first do it to their own store before doing it to our store. And that caused a lot of issues. And especially because when it works, they're like, oh, now I'm so busy because I have so many more sales for my original store. I don't have time for the second store. And that's why I was thinking, okay, if I was going to do it again, I got to kind of change it around a bit to make it, kind of more fair for everyone. So just literally a minute before we got on, we just quickly talked about it and say, hey, if we do it again, how should we do it? And then do you want to help me with it? Because Sebastian, not only has he been through the whole program, so he knows how it works, he's successful with his dropshipping stores, and he's a fucking ninja when it comes to things like ads in the back end. So
thank you.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, you know what? Let's team up. Let's do something together, and let's open it up to everybody, not just people with a store already. Obviously I don't want to have to teach everyone everything from the beginning because it's just going to take too much time. And honestly, it's easier for you just to watch, Anton's videos screen sharing, and he can kind of walk you through everything. But I think that's going to be the only real requirement is I want people to have kind of the basics down already. So if you guys are part of Anton's course, or if you guys sign up for it before coming and you promise to watch, the videos on your own time, I think anybody's going to be allowed to apply this year.
Yeah, I like the idea. And when you mentioned it, I was like, yeah, that sounds really good.
Okay.
And it's smart to open it for less skilled people, because anyone can do it. And yeah, I agree. If you have one or more stores running already, yeah, your priorities might be different.
Yeah, I think so as well. So the way it's going to work is instead of kind of just having, opening up for people and saying okay, if you guys follow through, then maybe in a year I might get paid for my efforts. What we're going to do is we're going to take a deposit up front, and we're going to say, if you do go through the whole program and you sell the store, you'll get that money back. And that way, if you did actually do the work, you did everything, I'm not going to charge you guys for the class or for the organization. But if you guys basically show up and drop out, and you decide you want to start a YouTube channel about, vegan fitness or something else, then hey, that's on you guys. So, I'm going to put together something on johnnyfd.com. I'm going to write a blog post with all the details. So if you guys are interested in how it's going to work, what's required, and you guys want to apply, just go look at the blog post on johnnyfd.com. I'll try to have a link to it in the show notes here as well. But I think it's going to be exciting. I think we're going to start next month, maybe sometime in November.
Yeah, same schedule like last year. I mean, now it's Q4. Now is when the sales are going to come in. So, yeah.
I think it's going to be exciting. Sebastian's going to help with his ninja skills. I'm going to help, kind of with the overview.
We're going to put some work in.
Yeah.
Like serious work.
So I really think there's no reason why every single person who signs up, and we're going to limit it. I think we'll maximum 10 people. But, and I'm sure 1 or 2 people are going to, say like, oh, I want to move back to Germany or something. But in general, I think if you guys actually stick to it and you guys do what's required, you follow what we have to teach you, and you're willing to put in the work, because at the end of the day, we're not going to do the work for you. You're going to have to be personally responsible, but we will guide you every step of the way. We'll make sure you don't get stuck anywhere, and we'll make sure that you scale up the store, as big as possible, because we'll have a financial interest. We'll have a percentage of the store as well. And that way, that we want it to succeed. So at the end of the year, or even when profits start coming in, we'll get a cut of that. And at the end of the year, when we sell the store, we'll all be able to have a big payday and be able to celebrate.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
Yeah, I love it. So check out the blog post. If you want to apply, johnnyfd.com. And if you haven't joined Anton's course yet, you can check it out and sign up at antonmethod.com.
I think it's dropshiplifestyle.com nowadays.
Well, you can just go to Anton's course.
But he probably has a redirect.
Yeah, redirect. Actually, I don't know if you know this. Antonmethod.com is my redirect. And that way I get credit when people sign up for it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Then you earn it.
Yeah, thank you. And the funny thing is, the way it came up was before it was called Dropship Lifestyle.
It had a different name, yeah.
The name was 4-Hour Millionaires Training Course.
Oh my God.
It was so cheesy that I refused to call it that on the podcast. And I was like, just go to antonmethod.com. And people were so happy that when they were telling their friends.
I remember the old slides, like with the palm tree and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember because I signed up very early, like 214, 215 something.
Yeah. And it was crazy because, so he came up with the name because, he had read the 4-Hour Work Week, and he really was making $1 million in sales from his store, and he was doing it while traveling. So he's like, oh yeah, this is great. We call it 4-Hour Millionaire Training Course. And it was like, and then I just started referring to it as like, oh, Anton's method, or the Anton method. And I decided, I was like, I'm just going to buy the URL. It's easier to send people to. And then if people sign up, I should get credit for it. And it's worked out. So I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah.
I found it that way. So
yeah. So
I heard about Anton's course from you, basically, like from your blog. So thank you.
Yo, bitteschön. So when you signed up for it, was it what was going through your head? Were you like, because how much
Oh, that was it was a couple of exactly remember. It was $997 back then, and I was like, okay,
I think
it's a bunch of money. Yeah. It's more now, but it's worth it, and also it's more content now. So I think it was 2015, early 15, when I first heard of it, and I signed up, and I was like, okay, first of all, it might be a ripoff. Yeah, you never know. It's the internet, right? So be careful. But on the other side, I was really curious, and I was like, I want to see the content. And back then I was living a pretty good life. I was spending a lot of money for things I didn't need. So I was like, okay, $900, $1,000. I just don't party for 1 or 2 weekends. And I saved that kind of money. Seriously. I'm not kidding. So that's what I did. I bought the course instead, and I started watching it and getting into it. Best decision ever.
Nice.
It took me quite long until I really started doing all that. But I started watching it. I started learning. I started getting into it. My first store, a German store, it's still up and running. Yeah. I gave it to a friend.
I'm sure he's happy with it.
He's happy with it, yeah. It makes between 500 and 1,000 profit, I think. I'm not sure. It's a side hustle, It's,
But you know what? It's so crazy that this information is out there now. It's
you just have to use it.
Yeah. Imagine if you went to university and I think in Germany it's free to go to university, right? Mm-hmm. But in the US, you have to pay $20,000 a year or something to go, and there's no guarantee you'll learn anything. There's no ROI. Maybe you can get a better job,
And I'll tell you something, with the content from the course, when I moved to Thailand and my dropshipping stores wouldn't make money yet, or not enough money, I was freelancing with that knowledge. I was building stores for others. I would help others just to code or whatever. And I had all this knowledge from the course, and I still take clients from time to time, charging much more than back then. But you can use it in many ways, the content. And nowadays the content is great.
Yeah.
Like marketing,
so
it covers
much of it.
everything. You literally just have to follow the step. Yeah.
It really is like university.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many, from time to time I go into the course and I try to watch it again, or I see what's new. It's so much, you can never finish it. I don't have the time for that. But the content is good. It's actually good.
When I signed up for it in 2013, there were 9 videos.
And how many are there now? I don't even know.
Oh my God, I don't know. But it was really small. And it was he would show you things. He would give you the overview of it. And then he'd be like, okay, just do it. And I was like, what do you mean do it? I don't even know how to do it. And luckily there were the forums, that are still popular. I think the private Facebook group gets more traffic. More people kind of, are excited on there.
And people are very helpful.
Yeah. Well, it's because I think when people spend, $1,500 on a course and they're invested, they are all the way in, and then they know that someone else paid $1,500. They want to help them if they can.
Yeah. It's a great community.
Versus on the free forums or public forums.
Oh, no one helps
people
you.
are so mean to each other.
Yeah, I know. It's so different. I agree. Yeah.
And so I have a thread on there called my progress thread step by step. Did you ever see it?
I did, but I don't remember in detail.
I basically started filling out as a daily journal everything I did when I started my first store, literally step by step. And every time I made a mistake, I would write I wish I would have done this 2 weeks earlier. I would have done this differently. And I think what's nice about the forum is you can just find that thread and then you can read the whole thing like a book.
Yeah. And you just tell people, hey, the question you just asked me, here's the link, just read it.
Yeah.
I've written it down. Yeah. That's great.
And I think the community, having access to the journals like that, and then all the new training, it really makes it worth it. And honestly, if you paid me $1,500 to teach you how to start a dropshipping store from scratch, I'm like, no, it's going to take me so many hours. It's going to take me
never
a month to teach you.
Yeah.
It's not worth my time.
Yeah.
But if you guys go through the course and then you guys have all the basics, and then we can just kind of help you with kind of the high level stuff. If you get stuck choosing a niche, or you okay, these are my, I wrote down my 20 or 30 possible niches. Can you kind of just, help me narrow it down to the best one, help me do the competitive research.
Yeah. And all the detailed questions when it actually comes to shipping, high ticket drop shipping also always very often means freight shipments. That's a complex topic that many people are overwhelmed with when they start.
Yeah. I think the biggest places people get stuck at is one, just never starting at all. Mm-hmm. Right? I can't help you with that. If you guys don't want to do it, or you guys are just, twiddling your thumbs, sorry. Right? But once you guys commit, you're okay, I'm actually going to do it. The places that people get stuck is trying to choose a niche. The second would be calling suppliers.
Oh yeah.
The third would be starting your ads. And then I would say the fourth is actually usually after the first sale comes through and people are like, okay, I got it, but now I'm freaking out because I don't know what to do. But those are to me, those are the fun 4 things. They're not that hard once you get once you get through them, each of them, you can kind of look back and you're oh, why was I stressing about that?
Yeah. I think the hard part is actually later, keep it running, scale it, grow it, decide which marketing tactic to use, how to price your items, how to compete in a very, very competitive market. And yeah, 2018 is competitive for sure, but it's possible.
Yeah.
And I have to change my marketing and my tactic all the time. There are ups and downs. I don't have the same numbers every month. Sometimes there is a bad month. That's just part of it. And then you have to adapt. You have to learn. You have to try something new. You have to try new marketing channels or change something. You have to find what's the issue. Why are people not buying from me right now if they used to? And that's a big part of the game.
Yeah. And that's what's exciting about having these mastermind partnerships is
seeing how other people do it. That was amazing.
Yeah. So what else did you like about being part of the partnership?
Biggest part that I liked was the open sharing. 10 people actually showing what they do. You could see exactly what worked for them before. And then, of course, all of them kind of share like with other people outside also. So they bring knowledge, like everyone brings knowledge inside the group. That was great. That was just amazing. And everyone had like different skills. Remember, like, what's his name? Forgot. He was like super into coding and stuff. Like I was not very great at that, but what he showed us, I was like, oh my God, it's so simple. But I can do such great changes myself if I just know a few hacks. And that kind of stuff was very helpful.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like everybody brought something like kind of different to the table.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something I'll have be part of the application. Like what unique skill do they have? Whether it's design, whether it's Excel, whether it's being good at code or back end, front end, whatever it is.
You don't need to know everything. You can learn every single step, but if you bring some kind of knowledge, it's definitely going to help. And it doesn't really matter what it is. Like some people can write, others can code.
Yeah. Was it Dylan that was good at coding?
Dylan, yeah.
I think Dylan's actually doing really well with his store.
Yeah.
He's one of the
kind
ones
of
that
disappeared.
left early.
That's probably a good sign.
Yeah. Well, he moved back to Texas.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Because I think it's for some family things, and he just never came back to Thailand.
Yeah.
And I love the guy, and like I'm friends with him still. But I was like, man, like you just took all this knowledge, went back, your store's crushing it, and you just disappeared on us. And I think that's why we were kind of restructuring the way the partnership's going to work this time, because we want to make sure it's beneficial for everyone involved. So if you guys are willing to put in the work, you guys are willing to learn, willing to listen, you guys want to come out to Chiang Mai, I will basically, like, we will do whatever it takes for you to succeed, because it makes us succeed as well. So if you guys want to all do this together, send an application. Go to johnnyfd.com. I'll kind of revise the last post with some new updates for this year. Send an application. If you have any questions, you can ask in the comments on there. And we hope to see you out in Thailand. And we hope we all get really rich from this, because, why not?
Who doesn't want to?
Yeah. So, yeah, Sebastian, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Thanks for having me. Thank you so much. It was fun.
Let's go open that
first
Samsung
podcast ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Nice. Well, this is a good one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And dude, it is nice. Like, it is a nice feeling. Like, I really want to thank you, like, publicly, for all your hard work.
I have to say thank you too. As you said it in your book, life changes quickly.
Yeah.
That's true.
And
everything's possible.
This life is amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you're living it. I'm glad that we're able to share this, and I'm glad that we can share this with all of you guys. So yeah, come out, johnnyfg.com, and also tell your friends. If you know anyone who might be interested in this opportunity, send them a link to this podcast episode or a link to the blog. And I also want to quickly thank our sponsor for this week, Hypath. So if you guys want to come out to Thailand with carry-on only luggage, or you guys want to travel around, you can go to Amazon, type in HYPATH, and you can find the 2-in-1 luggage. And you can also use the code JohnnyFD for 10% off. So once again, it's Hypath, HYPATH on Amazon. See all of you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao. Thank you for listening to the Travel Like a Boss podcast. If you want to hear more, including the bonus, How to Choose the Perfect Niche episode, join our mailing list at travellikeabosspodcast.com. See you next week, and remember, if you want to travel like a boss, you need to be your own boss. So start your online business today and start living the lifestyle you've always dreamed of.